Hi.
Hey, Lara.
Thank you, Kira. Good morning.
Good morning.
Could we have a more appropriate topic for today? Oh my goodness. And it's kind of dark here because Seattle, I know you guys are all like, does it always rain in Seattle? I swear it doesn't. It was gorgeous the last few days, but this morning it is like thunder and lightning. And it's like Mother Nature didn't pay the electric bill or something, and it's so dark out. So anyways, I appreciate you ladies waiting while I get the screen up and going. I think some of us match today.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, I think some of us match it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got those wine ones though.
Anyways, good morning. Good morning from so I'm just outside of Seattle in Mercer Island at Yoga Bliss, which is a really wonderful studio that I get to teach at. And, you know, in the non-pandemic days of life, Tiffany teaches here once a month too. And it's just a really cool, deep, rich practice. So kind of today I wanted us to look at a nice 6-minute slower flow that we can kind of like, you know, avoid moving a little bit deeper and a little bit more progressively in kind of that savoring way, as we're obviously, I think, getting different degrees kind of the end of our rope as far as anticipation or wanting things to move along. So that's kind of what we're looking at today, is practicing a slow flow with some patience and savory nature. So if you have any issues with your feed, I know Kira at Marketing and Yoga for Kira Grace is over at the chat button, so I'm sure she can message with you live if you have any issues. If you have cute little furry friends walk by your screen, I'll be excited to see that for sure. But what I would suggest is you have a couple blocks and maybe a blanket if you need one or want to have one for either knee padding or to sit up and let your pelvis rise a little bit higher and let your knees drop. So, you know, trying to look at a little bit more of the understanding of, like, I think when things get challenging, we often go back to some of the philosophical texts a lot of times, as they were some of the first sources of self-help. You know, and the yoga philosophy certainly is kind of foundationally built on that idea of Chitta Vritta Nirodha, which is, you know, that calm the fluctuations of the mind. So we can see things as they really are and perhaps end suffering. So, you know, in waiting and anticipation right now can sometimes be that cultivation of our own suffering. So, you know, looking back at these great old resources, and they still apply to modern day, maybe not as stealthily received through transmission of electronics, but through sometimes painstaking reading. And we can start to look at this idea in Sanskrit. The word is called parikshaha, or it is the concept of a cheerful endurance. So of that patience in Hindu philosophy, there's 10 concepts, and interestingly enough, 4 of those 10 concepts are actually 4 of the 5 yamas. So if you've ever practiced any of the first limb ideas of yoga, then you're constantly, you know, filtering these ideas of being patient as it is. We'll just kind of go back in that physical embodiment of it. So get started in a comfortable seat. I'm going to actually sit on a block in a supported hero's pose. And if you find something that's a little bit more comfortable, take that. You can cross your ankles, an easy pose, Sukhasana, or sit on your heels, or maybe even lean up against the wall. And then if you're comfortable closing your eyes, do so. If not, very soft gaze. So let in as little visual information as possible. Any of those vrittis or distractors. And to start that kind of investigation, that internal investigation. And you might be looking into the body and seeing without that sight, right, your energetics. Could be an abundance, maybe a lack of, or ideally somewhere in the middle. Maybe noticing those tender or tighter spots that could use a little bit more of your attention. But in the same kind of awareness, there's places that do feel spacious, that you do feel like you have, right, this access of feeling good, feeling mobile, feeling strong. And allow your breath to begin more of that evening out. It could be the first time thus far today that you've had the privilege or given yourself that time or space, that patience to observe the powerful simplicity of your breath. And we notice that when we deepen our breath and we elongate it in both directions and it becomes more equanimous, right? Equal inhales, equal exhales, that we can settle into the being. And we can be a little bit more maybe balanced overall. Right? We round those edges. So the breath tells us a lot. So let the breath be less of a response to the wandering mind or the maybe places in the body that can use a little bit more maybe attention, and let the breath be the heart of what we do today. Smooth, full, equanimous, patient and savored. Just take a few more cycles, maybe even lengthening the breath a little bit longer in both directions if it doesn't cause stress or strain. Perhaps even on these last few rounds, adding a retention, a kumbhaka at the peak of the inhale. Staying empty at the bottom of your exhalation, just for a moment or two, nothing that causes any stress or panic. Take that last round of just this really rich experience of your breath to kind of guide you or set that foundation, that stage for your physical practice. And slowly draw your palms together in Anjali Mudra. And I'm going to chant the invocation of the Upanishads, the Shanti Mantra. And the Upanishads deal so much with, again, those philosophical ideas that help us with our patience and cultivating that wellness of ending our suffering, about what is our purpose, why are we here, and when we're gone, what then? And as the Shanti Mantra means, as teachers and students, may we practice together on all levels for the betterment of others, not just the self, without the ego, protected and nourished. May we take this practice off the mat. And I know we're not together, yet we are. If you're comfortable at the end of the chant, join me with your own Om one time. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinam Ahiramastu Ma Virvishavahai Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So we'll make our way to hands and knees, tabletop back. So make sure your props are handy and that you've got a nice clear slate to kind of, again, check in. So as you come into hands and knees, tabletop, instead of just going into formulaic cat-cows, maybe just start the movement as it just shows up. So maybe embodying aspects of cat-cow, those undulations, maybe going into a little more of the side body or pausing in the rounding of the back. And then begin your Ujjayi Pranayama practice. And then see if you can continue to match your movement with breath. A lot of times we'll find, at least I find, that when I'm more in anticipation, my breath ends up chasing after my body, and my body then starts to chase after my breath. So see if you can unify those two aspects, even the breath being kind of the heart of that action. And 2 more rounds, nice kind of investigation. And see if you can take again that really last full rich movement of something we do so often at cat-cow, but every time just has this kind of really cool new endless kind of potential. And then come into tabletop back, draw on your navel, pelvic floor lift, the lower bandhas, and extend your right toes back behind you, rotate the right knee and hip down, and then lift through the ribs. Then push through your right heel and extend through the crown of your head, and see if you can extend even further in both directions, as though you're getting a little bit more space in between. And then take another breath with your ribs drawing in. Step your right foot in between your hands. And your hands can either be on blocks or hands down around your right foot. I just want you to shift forward and back a little bit, right? Like this movement has never been done before. It's new today. Just kind of shifting forward and back. And you might find a place where you want to pause, like maybe Ardha Hanumanasana, because hamstrings just really love to, go right into drama first thing in the morning. Or maybe you're somewhere else, and it's your midday or night. 2 more breaths, so just kind of shifting forward and back and just being fascinated by what your body maybe isn't doing also at this time, but certainly what it's doing. And then as you come back to your simple lunge, ground down into your right heel and rise your arms all the way up, draw the inner thighs in, and get a little bit more lift. And just let your hands be somewhat active without rigid, and take 2 more breaths again at that extension, like you're just trying to give yourself maybe a little bit more investigation. Then 1 more breath, reach to the sides. And then place your left hand down, right hand down by your right foot. And as you inhale, just roll your right arm up. And then exhale, bring the right hand down. 3 more times. So really nice and slow. It's like that slow-mo feature on our phones. And then exhale, lower it down. 2 more times. As we might get a little bit more connection, a little bit more awareness, bring it back down. Good, and then 1 more time, reach your right arm all the way up, stay here, or slight bend of your right elbow, little baby cactus arm, take 2 Ujjayi breaths. Maybe draw the right shoulder blade back a little bit further onto your spine, and then exhale, bring your right hand down, sweep your right leg back behind you, hover the right toes, then cross your right knee behind your left, kind of that cow face child's pose hybrid. So soften your hips back towards your mat without that need to have the sitting bones down. And then maybe spider crawl those fingers a little bit farther forward, and at the same time, send your hips back a little further. Come forward to tabletop back and cross your knees. And just pause the table, feeling obviously a little bit of imbalance, but also again, just that disconnect from criticizing it, but just noticing it. Then extend your left leg back with your toes turned down, your knees squaring off, and your ribs drawing in. Then push through your heel, push through your crown, get a little bit longer. Get a little bit more room between some of those places that get a little bit tighter. And then step your left foot in between your hands. Same thing, hands can be on the mat or on the blocks. And just that newness of shifting forward and back. I always think it's just kind of like this investigation. And you might get some of those sensations telling you, like, I went for a long walk yesterday, or I was at my desk too long, or I had a big sweaty practice. 3 more breaths, but savoring what today's body, the cells and the tissues are saying, maybe regards to what you've been up to, not in anticipation of what you will be doing. And then return with your lunge, left knee over ankle, and as you anchor your left heel, rise the arms up, Anjaneyasana, and sweep the inner thighs towards one another. Try not to go rigid. It's really easy to kind of like overdo it at times, but go through a little more effort to extend. And then place your right hand down, left hand outside of your left ankle. And then 4 times, and it's really easy to just fling the arm up, but take it up nice and slowly. And then bring it down, exhale, like it's meditation. 3 more times, it really is kind of a moving meditation. And then lower the left hand. 2 more times, inhale. And then exhale. Last time, reach the left arm up, and either stay there with the arm straight, or you cactus the arm a little bit, elbow, squeezing your left shoulder blade onto your back. And then take 1 more breath, give yourself a little bit more sensation. Left hand down, sweep the left leg back behind you, and cross the left knee behind your right. So coming into, I just call it calf pose, makes sense to me. And take 2 breaths, crawl the fingers forward, shift your pelvis back. And then walk them forward another breath, and then shift the hips back. Come back to tabletop back, and then cross your knees. And, obviously we feel that response of the second side. Then things diminish and even out. So smooth it with 1 round of cat-cow, drop the belly, inhale, look up. And then exhale, round through the spine. Let's tuck your toes and come into downward facing frog pose, or a very deep bent knee dog. And I know a lot of times regionally, or with our teachers who we studied with, or sometimes our influences, we might call things different names, but downward frog to me is downward dog with your knees bent a lot. So you've got that kind of springy frog leg type of buoyancy. So let's sweep your heels to the left and then push your hips back, almost like you're in a sideways Utkatasana. Then come back to downward frog, heels come back. Then sweep your heels to the right, push your pelvis back, and then come back to downward frog. Then start to lift your hips up a little bit more, legs will start to straighten, and then drag the heels back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha. 5 deep Ujjayi breaths, equanimous breath. Whether you're in movement or stillness, slowing down sometimes is actually creating a little bit more challenge. We're stripping some momentum. We're also kind of making ourselves experience something without going on to the next shiny, bright thing. Then rise your heels, bend your knees, lots of baby steps forward. So just take your time coming forward. Almost maybe seeing if you can delay the steps. And as you come into any form of ragdoll, hands can go to elbows or drape down. I know there's a lot of experience out there that just kind of shapes what we need each day. So give yourself that kind of awareness. If you want to take a shoulder bind or release the hands, or maybe Padahastasana, slide the feet onto your hands and wrists. Take 2 more deep Ujjayi breaths. Let's let those exhalations give you a little bit more softness. And release your bind, or the hands are underneath your feet. Then inhale, let's extend the spine and float the heart. Hands to your shins, Ardha Uttanasana. We'll stay here for big breath. Push your shins so actively into your palms that you stretch your crown forward and sitting bones go back. 2 more breaths. And you might start to feel those postural muscles turn on a little more. 1 more breath, maybe even a little bit more intensity. And then forward fold, exhale, Uttanasana. Rise to stand, inhaling Urdhva Hastasana. Take your arms out and up. And then exhale, Samastitihi. Turn the palms forward. And take 2 breaths. As you feel those palms turn forward, those upper shoulders are firing. Really ignite and get a little bit more recruit of your inner strength. And inhale, extend the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold into your Uttanasana. Start with some just simple lunging salutes. Inhaling, extend the spine, floating the heart. And then step your left foot back, left knee down, low lunge. Let's rise your arms all the way up. Inhale. But bend your left elbow. Bring it in between your shoulder blades, left palm facing in. And take half cow face. Extend your arms up and side bend over to the right. So just nice lateral bend. Try not to sink forward and land to the right hip, but keep tracking your right heel down and feeling that support coming from your right foot. 2 more breaths, and you can always extend the left elbow up a little bit more. And feel that lateral side body peel open. Then place your left hand down, lift your left knee, and extend your right arm. And instead of going for this really precise shape, maybe let your right arm drop open a little bit further. And you might just give yourself more relaxation to let that happen versus force. Good, take 1 more breath. And exhale, step it back to downward facing dog. Let's come forward to plank pose. Inhale. Stay in high plank or, bring the knees down for support. Scoot forward to the toes and chaturanga to your belly. Exhale. Let's take 3 cobras, anchor the toes, pubic bone. Inhale, coil up, Bhujangasana. Use your whole exhalation to go down. 2 more times. And I know this is just so familiar, cobra, that we could float it in, but almost linger it a little bit more. Good, 1 more time, come into cobra. And every time we do it, it's essentially a brand new pose. And then lower your body back down to the mat. Come to tabletop back with your toes tucked under and hover your knees. And keep your crown and your tail nice and long from one another. Try not to look to your knees. Take 2 breaths, remembering the lower bandhas, Mula and Uddiyana, navel to spine, pelvic lift. And then pipe your hips up to downward facing dog. Use the whole breath to lift your left leg high, 3-legged dog. Think inhale, inhale, inhale. Bend your left knee, roll the hip open, exhale, exhale, exhale. Use 1 breath to bring your knee to your navel in one direction. And then use another breath or your exhalation to take it around the opposite. Then come back to your 3-legged dog, square off your hip. Let's bring your left knee to your left shoulder as you exhale. Then push the earth away around your upper back. Step your left foot all the way through. Keep your back knee lifted. Same thing that we did before with the knee down is shifting forward and back. So coming forward and back in that, right, investigation. And please feel free if you find a spot that you want to savor or simmer in, do that. Or you might even start to roll over the backs of the toes, which make us a little bit more comfortable in vinyasa transitions. 2 more breaths in between a lunge and a pyramid shape. Then let's return back to your lunge, left knee over ankle. See if you can step your right foot forward really slowly, like you want to be the last one there. So start to bend into your left knee, then straighten it out, and then place the right foot down to meet the left. Inhale, float the heart, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold down, and rise all the way up to stand. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, arms by your side, Samastitihi. Second side. Inhale, you reach the arms up. And then fold it down, exhale. And inhale, extend your spine. And then step your right foot back, right knee down, low lunge. Reach your arms all the way up. Bend Bend your right elbow, so half Gomukhasana, right hand placed between your shoulder blades, left hand to around the elbow tricep, extend it up, and then arch over to the left. So I kind of fondly think about my earlier, not so much earlier days in practicing. I thought if I was the first yogi in the room to be through my sun salutation first, I was clearly the best. And it kind of betrays so much about what makes us happy or stable, or the practice itself. 2 more breaths. I almost like to not necessarily race now to be the last one there, but to race against my own, right, my own need to get things done. Then rise your arms all the way up, place your right hand down, lift your right knee, and then sweep your left arm up. So almost this competition to make myself more patient. Still a long ways to go, obviously, for philosophy. 2 more breaths. All right, let it roll open. Feel that left pectoral region stretch. And then step it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, slowly round forward plank. And then exhale, lower all the way to the earth. This time, 3 breaths, sustain cobra. Pubic bone, toes come up to cobra, and stay through your exhalation. And see if you can take 2 more breaths to either, right, simmer, savor, or even refine. Maybe track the elbows back a little more. Maybe widen through the collarbones just a little bit further. And then exhale, lower your body back down. Come back to that floating tabletop. So you can tuck the toes over your knees, take 3 breaths. So the lower you are to the earth, you can almost sense the energy of the mat. But then obviously the core muscles and support. Good, 1 more inhale. And then downward facing dog pose, exhale. Use the whole breath, 3-legged dog. Right leg high, no rush, no race. Use the whole exhalation, bend your right knee, roll it open. Inhale, square the right hip up. Bring your right knee to your right shoulder, exhale. And then float the knee between your arms with flat palms, step your right foot all the way through. Go back and forth to your lunge, straightening and bending, or maybe pausing and observing. 3 more breaths. And even the most familiar things are brand new and fresh and fascinating. So as you return back to your lunge, take your time stepping your left foot forward, and makes it more challenging. So push off to the right foot, float the left leg up, and then slowly place the left foot near the right. Float the sternum, Ardha Uttanasana, inhale. Uttanasana, fold down, exhale. Rise to stand, inhaling Urdhva. And then exhale, Samastitihi. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, drop the hips at low. And as you rise your arms out and up, shift your hips so that you're not in that right place of right full sensation, but there's that embodiment, like you could actually rest here. Not an oxymoron, rest in Utkatasana, but right, that cheerful endurance. Hindu philosophy speaks of patience as a cheerful endurance. 3 more breaths. I still struggle with that. 2 more breaths. Right, project through the fingertips on your next inhale, then fold it down, exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, float the spine. Now step your left foot back, left knee. So start with your arms by your side at first in your lunge. Left knee down, and I want you to toe heel your right foot so that your right heel is in line with your left knee. And immediately you start to kind of feel shaky and rocky. Their foundation is obviously not as generous or familiar, but we'll go to our deep stabilizers. So push down into your right foot and think about that slackline effect. Then take your arms by your side and just take 1 breath And begin to feel that deep activation. Your intrinsic muscles are all showing up. Add some challenge. Inhale, rise the arms up. So add some movement. And then exhale, release your hands down 3 more times. And I'm already fatiguing. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. And then exhale. 2 more. So take it slowly out and up, but not with caution, right? Just more of, again, that patience and sweetness. Now, as you inhale, last time reach your arms up. Add some challenge with your drishti. So you can take your gaze towards your thumbs, or on cut up, close your eyes. And take 3 breaths. And if you feel shaky and a little bit wobbly, exactly. 2 more breaths. It's again part of that learning curve they call life. 1 more breath. Nice. And then open up your eyes in front of you. Slowly toe heel your right foot out. Woo! And then lunging forward. And if you bobble it, you can say, I plan to do that. And I would totally believe you. Good. 1 more breath. And then exhale, step it back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha. Take 3 breaths. Come forward to plank on your next inhalation, and then pause a plank pose, sternum forward, exhale. Scoot forward to the toes, chaturanga, slowly lower down to your belly, set up for locust pose. Take your palms by the outer hip, thumbs out, and push your pubic bone down, and just first let the upper and lower body rise from anchoring the pubic bone down. Use your next inhalation then to lift everything up at the same time. Think, inhale, 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 and then extend through your exhalation. 2 more breaths. And a lot of times these poses I like to throw the arms up because I know I'll get there. But try not to maintain, try and just keep refining. And then exhale, lower back down. Floating tabletop back. Tuck your toes. And take 3 breaths. And 1 more inhale. Downward facing dog pose, exhale. Use the whole breath, left leg high. Think, inhale, inhale, inhale. And then bend your knee, roll it open, exhale. Square off your hip, 3-legged dog. Once again, left knee, left shoulder. Then push the floor away, draw the knee up. Then step your left foot through, right heel flat, warrior 2. You're a B. So left heel, right inner arch, warrior 2. Give yourself just a few breaths to maybe come a little bit deeper into the left knee lunge than maybe we would prefer. If we're practicing maybe on our own, or right, sometimes the accountability, personally within myself, not always there. Start to straighten your left leg, right hand to left wrist, and come into kind of a reverse bound triangle variation. So as you push into your left foot and you guide your left hand back, try not to push, try not to, right, yank, try and even those 2 actions out, those opposites. And 1 more breath. And then exhale back to warrior 2, come into warrior B, 1 more breath. Exhale, hands down, right hand down, and let's lower your right knee. Vashisthasana, turn the right foot to the right and slowly extend your left leg back, left fingertips forward. So extend through the sides. Get nice and tall. 3 more breaths. Right, if I could get a little bit more length on the side, it would have to be through me, right? Going deeper. Then draw your left knee into your left ribs, look to the right hand. Spin your right foot back as you step your left foot forward. Maybe pause or tongue. And then step your right foot forward to meet the left. Inhale, float the sternum. And then exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Stand up, inhaling, Urdhva. Rest in Utkatasana, sit low, rest. Rest and refine. rest and refine. Right, so Utska we know means powerful. And on that flip side, it's just that symbol of like sitting and being more maybe restful or inactive. 2 more breaths. Then forward fold, exhale, Uttanasana. And as you extend your spine and look forward, this time right foot back, right knee down. So start with your arms by your side. Those intrinsic muscles, very deep, very deep. So start to walk your left foot now in line with your right knee. And we always know that one side is going to be a little weaker. I'm mirroring you. My right side in front is actually weaker. So as I bring my hands by my side and I establish that foundation and I wait for everything to just kind of, right, even things out. But then I'll challenge it. Inhale, rise the arms up. And then slowly take them out by the side. And you just get tired quickly, 3 more times, or those layers of fatigue that we know is movement embracers. 2 more times. If we have levels of fatigue, we can work through. Okay, 1 more time, raise the arms up. And this is where we have that permission to challenge further. So either take your drishti up, look to the thumbs, angustaya drishti or antada drishti, internal gaze, 3 breaths. Woo! Nice, take 1 more round of breath. Slowly open up your eyes. Don't heel your left foot out into that lunge. I know, oh, just soften in. Thank you, release. And then step back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha. Inhale, shift forward plank. And then slowly turn around into your bellies. 1 more locust pose, palms down, push the pubic bone. Use the whole breath to rise up, Shalabhasana. Use your exhalation to extend. Then 1 more breath, maybe to refine and build. Use your whole exhalation to make your way back down. Come back into floating tabletop back. This time we're floating tabletop back with your shoulders over your wrists. Try and keep the left knee fairly stable, not fixed, but fairly stable. Right knee to right tricep. And then take the right foot and hover the knee. Left knee, left tricep. Take it back and hover. 3 more times, each arm, right. Take it back. Left knee, left. Take it back. Draw it to the right. Float it back. To the left. Then take it back. 1 more time, right knee. Take it back. Left knee. Hover them. Take a breath, hovering table. The downward facing dog, exhale. Whole breath to get the right leg high. Bend your knee, roll it open, exhale. Big circle with your knee to your navel on the right side. Exhale, sweeps it back around. Now raven. Back to 3-legged dog, inhale. Bring your right knee to your right shoulder as you exhale, but then push the floor, draw the knee up, and step your right foot through. Warrior 2, right heel left inner arch. And lunge deeper, right? This is noble hero, Virabhadra, it's noble hero. Boldness. Boldness. You know, and I'm guilty of this too as I, continue to practice. Some of those foundations seem a little less interesting, and the drama, the excitement of others can feel more, tempting. But take 1 more breath and just this Purusha, this pure awareness of this very powerful foundation. Then reverse triangle, straighten your right leg, reach your left hand to your right wrist. And try not to yank. Always think of guiding. I'm guiding the right hand back. And I'm opening through the right side. Good, 1 more breath as you really push into your right foot. Exhale back to warrior 2. Come back to Warrior Two, setting up for supported Vashisthasana. Lower the left hand down, lower your left knee. And as you float your left leg back, right foot extends, and you take your top arm over. And of course, if there's any variation you would prefer to take right now that's more supportive, or maybe something you've been patiently practicing, do that. 2 more breaths, reach. Start to draw your right knee in towards your ribs, look to your left hand, and then see if you can slowly step the right foot forward, and left foot meets right. Inhale, extend your spine, and then exhale, pull down. Rise all the way up to stand, inhaling Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, turn your palms forward, Samastitihi. Just take a few moments, same standing, with the right and the left, the front and the back, returning to the equanimous breath. And 3 more. Good, 1 more breath. Patient and savory. So make your way onto your shins. So if you want some knee padding here, we're going to be going back and forth a lot on our knees between a variation of gate pose, a variation of Vashisthasana. So, be aware. You might want some knee padding, or you can always fold up your mat if you don't have a blanket handy. But let's have your shins about hip width distance. Then sneak your right leg out to the side and turn your 5 toes of the right foot forward. And if you can push into the outer nice edge of your right foot, kind of tone that ankle a little more. See if you can push really actively into the outer foot. And as you slide your right hand down, roll your left arm up and over. But instead of just staying lateral, I want you to actually turn your left shoulder down and actually look to your right knee. And then start to spin the chest open. A little bit of a twist, not much. And do that 3 more times. So the left shoulder blade may feel like it's starting to release and be a little less sticky. 2 more times, a little more mobility. I know some of us probably haven't had any good body work for a few months. Good, and then come back to that lateral gate. Then extend to the left hand. Then exhale, come up. Place your left hand down, reach your right arm up, and this time either keep your right foot down and lift your left knee, or again, keep the left knee down with the right leg. 3 breaths. When you've really got the super active left hand, you're pushing out of the mat, not letting yourself sink. Then if the knee is lifted, slowly bring it back down. And then drop your right hand, come back, arms parallel, back to that Parigasana, right hand down the left arm. Only this time, as you extend through your left arm and push through your left shin, maybe float your right arm up. And take 3 breaths. Of course, you're always welcome to take your hand down for support. 2 more breaths. So the thing about core, I think, is if it's held, it's not quite as movement oriented, it's definitely savored more. Bring your arms up parallel. This time, option is to hover your left hand and right arm up. So your challenges are still challenges, but they're changing. Sounds like life. Take 1 more breath. And then come back up, pre-gate pose. 1 more time, either Parigasana variation 1, variation 2, or interlace your fingers, try and roll your left elbow up, a little bit more of that, I think, oblique orientation. Good, 1 more breath. Now come back with your arms parallel, any variation of side plank pose you want. So you can take more of that supported. You can take the Agni, fire one. You can straighten leg, always lift the right leg up as an option. But take maybe a moment, your first inclination, Vashisthasana, 3 breaths, Right, that one that's just purposeful to you today. You didn't overthink it. You didn't anticipate it. Good, then slowly come on up. And either sit back in thunderbolt, sitting on your heels, or slide the block in between your heels, supported hero's pose. And take a few rounds of breath. You notice we're great anticipators. You can say that cultivates attachment, and then when it doesn't happen, there's disappointment, and there goes the cycle, and the impatience of getting what we want, or the inability to enjoy what it is that we've been faced with, or the tenacity to be, right, cheerfully enduring, according to Hindu philosophy. Come back up to your shins. Maybe this weekend, that'll be your mantra, I'm cheerfully enduring. Take your left foot out, turn the 5 toes forward, kind of push a little bit without too much, right, active force, getting into the outer ankle. Let's slide your left fingertips down, reach your right arm up, palm over, start laterally, and then turn your chest down. And then slowly inhale, turn the chest up, and then exhale down. 2 more times. Inhale, roll it open, and exhale, turn it down. Good, one more time, roll it open, and turn it back down. Then bring yourself back to the arms parallel. Right hand down, left arm up, left foot up as an option. 2 more breaths. And then bring your foot back down. This time, arms can come open to the side, palms facing. And you can always bring the hand there. I just know sometimes, like even if you did it 100 times in the last week, today might not be that day. Today might not be that day. 1 more breath. And then come back. This time, hover the right hand, left arm up. Whew. 1 more breath. And then slowly bring yourself here. Take yourself into your gate pose, or again, arms can be in some variation, elbows going wide. Taking your arms back out, right hand down, maybe lift the right knee, or maybe stack your hips, or maybe do Parangusta variation. Take 3 breaths. And exhale for 2. Make your way back now. You can spin if you've oriented yourself on your mat differently. And actually come into child's pose, balasana. Either knees wide, if you want to have more of that embryo pose, as you feel perhaps that more curvature of your spine, or a little bit more softness, a little bit more space. That's going to mean different things for you. Take a couple more breaths. And now slowly make your way just to a comfortable seat. Let's take your right foot out, left foot in. Janu Shirsasana setup. But walk your hands and send your chest forward so that you're folding in between your bent and straight leg. And try and keep your right toes active, and depending on your hip mobility. Sometimes roll forward here, or if you need more tilt, you can always fold your mat up or slide a blanket underneath. Great time to close your eyes and maybe walk the hands farther forward. And then slowly walk your hands back in towards you. Switch the legs. Stick your left foot out, right foot in. So instead of coming to the jaw or the knee, you're just going to go straight forward. Make a little bit more of your inner adductor thigh muscle attention. And try and stabilize. And not with that rigidity, not trying to be so muscle it, but the toes being turned up, your ankles stable. Maybe walk the hands farther forward. And in doing so, closing your eyes could certainly give you more of a internal experience versus that visual. How far do my hands reach out? Do they more so on the other side? Last time I was here. And one more breath. And then begin to slowly walk your hands in towards you. Take a bound angle pose, but more in that diamond shape. So I'm going to send my hips back, feet together. Of course, you can always slide two blocks underneath your knees if they'd like to have a little bit of lift. But as you bring your hands towards your feet, add some subtle sway. So instead of trying to just force the forehead or your head into the arches of your feet, feel like you're just being very beguiling, almost in a way, kind of, softening your way in, sneaking up on this outer hip, low back stretch without this big kind of agenda. Good, 3 more breaths, and see if there's any type of more response or anticipation here, or if it's just this uniform kind of this mutual exchange. Then begin to slowly make your body up and make your way onto your back. So let's take bridge pose with the block to your thighs. Of course, if you'd like to take bridge pose supported, if you just need it for whatever that might be, they're more of a passive experience, a little bit more of a release, and take it. Otherwise, push the feet into the mat as you squeeze your block, and then see if you can use maybe 2 or 3 breaths to roll the spine up, vertebra at a time, into your bridge. Almost like you just keep peeling back the curtain and revealing just a little bit more of it. And any option, if you want to cactus the arms out or interlace your fingers. Three more breaths. This might be more challenging, but to come out slowly, 2 or 3 breaths at a time, rolling down the vertebral column, right, slowly. Bringing the pelvis down very last. Letting yourself work against gravity. And then if the block is not underneath your sacrum, move it, and let's take Viparita Karani. As you take your feet up, or if you're at a wall, or it's kind of fun to teach online and see these environments where they are not so different. Maybe you're doing legs at the wall at your refrigerator, or you have your legs more bent and you're on a couch or a chair. And wherever we practice, wherever we go, there we are, and it's still right, our practice. It might be a nice time to roll your ankles out, give yourself those pointing and flexing, kind of playful, sometimes noisy movements. A couple more breaths. It's just such a nourishing pose when it comes to slowing things down mentally, central nervous system to down-regulate. refute that thing that we call stress. And as you bend your knees and push your feet down, just lift your pelvis up enough to remove the block, but again, take your time coming down, right? No rush, no race to get there. So if you want to take happy baby, take Ananda Balasana or draw your knees into your chest to give yourself that kind of playful rolling side to side. Maybe play around with lifting the pelvis up and rolling more in between the thoracic region, or truly anchoring your low back and sending your sitting bones forward. There's a little bit more of those kind of common cues, but occasionally we have to just kind of color outside the lines. Take a couple more breaths. I think that's probably been the last couple months. We've maybe experienced that kind of mentality, like plan B, plan C, right? What worked before isn't going to be right, what we do now. So as you place your feet onto the mat, if you want to hold a static twist for 2 or 3 breaths each side, go for it. Otherwise, knees together, feet wide, constructive rest, and just take your time wipering your knees right and left. Less for a static twist, more about just general wellness, mobility. And can you move slowly? Experience the savory patience of giving your knees to the right and to the left. And then maybe one more time each direction, or if you did your static twist, you're staying on each side, so there's that equanimous experience. Then as you make your way towards that Shavasana type of rest, maybe you want to draw the knees in, or you can certainly grab any type of props you'd like to have to support your most challenging pose, Shavasana, a simple and challenging rest. Set your bodies up for that peace and for that ease. Try not to be distracted by your home and the rush to life. So as you start to prepare that emergence from Shavasana, going back to that Pariksha, patience, the savoring, the fingers and the toes, as they maybe expand, curl in, or And then add that more overall body movement, which may seem so similar every time we emerge, but it is so different. It's so different. Especially if we are giving ourselves that permission to pause and observe. And when you're ready to make your way to your right side, give yourself some support for your head and slide your hands or your palms underneath. And very slowly make your way up to any comfortable seat. Any seat. And with your gaze soft or your eyes closed, draw your palms to Anjali Mudra. And allow your forehead to bow to your fingertips, bowing in honor of what is that inner teacher. And that is the Guru. It lies within your hearts and your own souls. Om Balo Sadguru Maharaja Ki, which I say Jai. Thank you for sharing. Namaste. Namaste. So I got a little technical late start, so we ended a couple minutes late. I want to thank you all for joining me. And please consider, even though this class was generously brought to us by Kira Grace, yay Kira Grace, but if you're in any position, donation to make towards the Yoga Medicine Seva program, project, Seva as Service. And that is a wonderful organization that provides services like education, housing, job training for survivors. They're not victims, they're survivors of human sex trafficking in India. And they recently had a big earthquake. So on top of the virus and socioeconomic struggles, we've had environmental destruction. So if you're in any position, that would be amazing if you could. There's so many great, outlets for us to be of service. But thank you so much for joining me this Saturday. I'll see you in a couple months, and check the schedule of Kira Grace for other amazing ambassador warriors that are leading. So thank you. Leslie's got her arms out. What's up, Leslie?
It's because I didn't know Tiffany was taking the class with us. That's super rad.
Yeah, hi. Oh. Yeah, just casual. Yeah, well, yeah, we're all lucky to be part of this this female strength-oriented organization. Is Lulu there with you?
She is kind of out. She got teeth pulled, so she's upstairs on pain meds.
Oh.
Oh, thank
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Hi, Val. Hey, who else there? I need my glasses. Who is all there? There's Kira. Let's see, Amber. Hi, Amber.
Thank you.
I think you dropped off, but thanks for the patience. I
was
swear
totally
I'm
my
not.
bad, Laura. Thank you for
Huh?
being patient with me. That was totally my bad.
Oh, no. I'm one of those people that is now starting like, where's my glasses? I can't see. What does this button do? It's kind of embarrassing. But I'm savoring the aging process at the same time. So anyways, I appreciate you all joining. Anybody have any exciting plans today?
This was it.
It's my birthday.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday! I have that on
So
my
this is my birthday class, and
You're
thank
29
you for
again, aren't you?
definitely
Forever.
savoring the aging process. Savoring the
Right?
aging process.
Girl, I hear you. I'm going to be 29 again, too. Now, actually, I really think, and I was truly meaning this to somebody the other day, that aging has been probably one of the greatest gifts, because I don't know how I would look at this whole situation as my even 29-year-old self. I was not a very mature 29-year-old. So, with age comes obviously experience and maybe a little bit more svadhyaya, and we kind of roll with it a little bit more. Now, if I could just tell my 11-year-old that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for a great class. It was really nice. Felt so good.
Yeah,
Happiest
that was
birthday
wonderful.
to you. It's such a privilege.
Thank you
I look
so much.
forward to it. Very good to listen.
Thank you, Grace, for hosting it. Thanks for bringing
Yeah,
it
thank
out.
you, Kira.
Thank you guys for your donations.
Sarah.
Oh, I got some texts. Oh, some people are saying, oh, Kendra, one of my 200 graduates recently says, happy birthday, Val.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, some people are being shy.
Enjoy the thunderstorm, Kendra and Laura.
Oh my gosh, I know, crazy thunder and lightning. It's very dramatic.
Oh no, you're not in Seattle. It's the sun.
It's crazy. It's like really coming down. So
There's Kendra.
yeah.
Kendra, Val.
It was like we
Yeah,
don't
it
get
is.
lightning like that. I think it's really close to us. Where I'm in Kirkland, and it was like
Yeah.
even during the class a little. It was fun.
Yeah. I know. I was like, hey, Mother Nature, can you make it exciting? Can you give us like a dramatic background?
Yeah, I had my door open.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
For the rain?
Yeah, yeah. The dog was wanting to come in and out, so it was like
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm just down the street from you right now, Kendra, in Mercer Island. So
yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say it looks a little dark. I thought, yeah, it's pretty dark outside.
it is dark. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
all right. I get to look youthful and like mysterious, right?
Yeah, no, it's good. I like it.
what are you doing for your birthday, Valerie?
What's that?
What are you doing for your birthday?
I don't know. You know, Scott made me this amazing breakfast this morning, and now, he was out mowing the lawn while I took the class, so we'll see. Violet's invited me to do a couple things, and it's actually a beautiful day here, so I'm just happy to spend it most likely with my family. So
Good. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Enjoy.
thank you. I wish I could come hop in your pool, Amber.
I'm watching my kids right now in the pool, and yeah, we're very lucky that it's finally warm here, so we can use it, and we're near the water. So grateful.
Yeah, so nice. All right, I'm gonna say hi.
Awesome.
Bye.
Cuddles.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Oh, I just thought
Thanks.
There it is right there.
that's super rad.